All right, we're live.
All right. Welcome to the August 4th meeting of the Joint Development Authority. I just need to get my agenda up. I wasn't prepared to do it. Okay. I'm going to call the meeting to order. I am Stephanie Lynn, treasurer, acting as chair, unless Erica just came in. It looks like she did. I'm going to hand it over to her.
Erica, there's been a coup in your absence.
Don't hear her yet. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I apologize. It's the first day of school. So we had cross country practice and some of the 9th grade moms just didn't know where to pick them up and I can't just leave them hanging out there. So I had to wait. Sorry.
We're already on
You
live.
want me to wait with your kid?
Hey, Erica, we're on live feed now. I was just about to call the meeting to order, so you go ahead and take over.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and call this regular scheduled meeting of the Joint Development Authority of ACCGov and the City of Winterville to order at 5:37 on 4th of August 2021. And I was just reading the agenda on the other page. Where did it go? Oh no, it disappeared. Okay. Everything is gone.
It's on the screen now.
All right, hang on. I'm not on the screen now. I meant everything was gone. Okay. Okay. So, approval of a resolution making findings for emergency conditions. I believe this is in regard to the fact that we are now meeting again on via video chat due to COVID. So would anybody like to make a motion to approve the resolution?
Stephanie will motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thank you, board members. You're now legal.
Okay, and the next item on the agenda is to approve the agenda. So everybody just take a moment to read through, see if there's anything that we need to change.
I don't think we can change it at this point.
I mean, okay, see if there's anything that's out of order that we should not approve.
The treasurer's report is not on here, but I don't know if it even needs to be on here.
Dan?
Do you want to consider the treasurer's report?
I've already sent it out in email, so it doesn't need to be discussed. I didn't know if it had to be on the agenda for people to even have received it.
And I apologize. I thought I had added to the agenda, but what I think I must have done is added it and then gotten my versions of the agenda mixed up.
Ilka, how far in advance of the meeting was the agenda posted?
I posted it yesterday afternoon, so a little over 24 hours in advance.
All right, so it's more than 24 hours, which means that we can, if we want to, amend the agenda now to add the treasurer's report to it.
Just so we can cover it. So I make a motion to amend the agenda to include a treasurer's report.
I'll second that motion.
Where in the agenda?
Put it after, put it in new business.
Do you want it in new business or after the staff report?
Maybe before the council report?
That sounds good.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't catch who elected and who seconded the amendment.
I motioned to amend it.
I second it. So is there any further discussion about whether or not we should add the treasurer's report to the agenda? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Okay. Motion carries
I motion to approve
All
the
right.
agenda as amended.
as amended. Thank you.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion carries with unanimous approval. All right, so now we need to look over the minutes from the last two meetings. Ilka, do you mind sharing those
Sure.
so that
Hold
we
on
can
one
all look
second.
at it? Thanks. Because I have it all open somewhere else on my computer. When I closed this to go find it, nothing was there.
Gotcha. No worries. Okay, so here comes the 623, which I have incorrectly labeled as 723.
I
Here it
put
comes.
the right label on it on the drive.
Thank you. All right, so there's the 23rd. I'm just gonna slowly scroll. Is that okay?
Mhm.
Mhm. Okay.
Yep. I motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Do we want do we want to just read them both and approve them at the same time?
I don't know.
All right, let me open the second one real quick.
Since they're lumped together on the agenda?
Okay, here comes the 29th.
Yeah.
Oh, can you back that up just a hair?
Yeah, that new business stuff, there was a lot of shenanigans on that, and I can't recall exactly what happened, so I'm going to take your word for it, Tim.
There's one thing I need to point out under that reference to the legal context. That was where we adopted a resolution determining that our disbursement of the resiliency loan funds was allowable pursuant to Article 3, Section 6, Paragraph 6 of the Georgia Constitution. I can provide that text if you want to have it in writing.
Can we
Okay,
edit it right here, Dan?
All right.
Can we edit it in this meeting? Because I know Tim works on it live.
Sure, of course. What you're doing is correcting the minutes, and it's
Yeah.
not exactly incorrect, but it doesn't make the record that we needed that.
Yeah, if you want to send me that information, I'll go in and add it afterwards there.
Okay, I'll do that now.
So do we want to table approving these minutes pending the changes, or?
We
If
can
we're-
approve them as amended.
I'm sorry,
If we're comfortable about the changes, they can be corrected on the spot. That's what's normally done. But if there are reservations.
okay, what I mean, do we want to move this, this item on the agenda down until the corrections are made so we can look at it before we approve it? Or wait? I can't tell
I
if
think
y'all
I
are
might-
really quiet or if my screen is.
I think I could just pull the minutes and share them as Tim is, we can live stream Tim making the edits to the agenda. Hold on, here it
That's
comes.
what I was asking.
Yeah.
So we'll wait
think-
then until the changes are made.
Or I
Yeah,
think we can, can't we just approve as amended per Dan's recommendation?
I think so.
Yeah,
I'm-
you
We can.
You're done?
Oh, you're done? Okay. That's the updated version, Tim?
Okay. Do I need to do anything then? Or...
I think Tim was going to wait for Dan to send him the language for it.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I'm doing that now.
Okay.
Which, I mean, we can, I think we've done previously, directors can approve the minutes as modified if we agree on the modification, which is the language he's going to send me if you guys don't want to watch this.
I motion.
Well, that's what I was saying. We could just,
Agenda as amended.
Just as verbalized.
yeah. Okay. Do we have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Okay. All in favor of approving as modified? Okay, great. Motion carries. Okay, so next on the agenda is old business. I don't see anything or anything listed for us to discuss as old business.
Oh,
So we'll move on then to the new business, which is discussion of the next phase of the turntable revolving loan fund, including potential loan eligibility and criteria. So we were waiting to see what additional funds might be available. Were we not?
we were. I mean, we have some available in our fund that we still have. And I sent that in the treasury report. It's like $139,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, that there was the issue of we kind of reached the point of saturation with the old format, but we were going to, we were expecting to receive some additional funding, and so we were going to hold off on the fourth round until we knew what that was, you know, what money we were going to have and like what stipulations it carried. Is that correct?
Well, the timing might be nice, maybe, if I can suggest that the mayors might want to share any update they might have related to ARPA funding coming through. I know that that was something that the mayor had previously shared some information with us about. Mayor Gertz, sorry.
Yeah, I'd be glad to give a really quick update. So there was a draft process distributed to the commission before we took a July hiatus. And we're revisiting that next Tuesday coming up. And so at that work session discussion, we'll mostly talk about process and maybe briefly touch upon goal areas. But I mean, broadly, we're probably some months out from allocation of those dollars.
Okay.
I know that one of our members was commenting that we have this money and it should be out in the community. And so we did talk about, were there any ways that we could change the loan program to make it, well, his idea was to not require the 2 years of occupation tax, which I think we all decided was not a good way to go. So, we have a bunch of people that applied for the loans who weren't eligible because they did not have occupation tax. We could email those people and say, hey, if you go get it, we could accept an application from you. There's like a bunch of noise coming in. Do y'all hear that?
If y'all can mute yourselves except for the person speaking, sometimes that'll help a little bit.
Anyways, I could reach out to all of them and see if anybody would be interested in getting their occupation tax up to date if we were to have a loan program, but that's really, that's all I know to do to try to get that money out there. I'm not that interested in going through that effort because they've been notified during the loan program after they applied that they weren't eligible unless they did that. And I said, as soon as you do it, send me proof of it, and then I'll send you on to the bank review. And none of them did it. So I'm not inclined to chase their tails. I just say we leave the money sitting there, and when there's a need, use it. But I think the emergency part is over. I think it should be something like a business stabilization, business development, but there's not enough there to do anything really powerful with for more than a few businesses.
So I'm sorry, as far as that emergency piece goes, I feel sort of like we're sitting on the edge of a new emergency, and that waiting might be the thing that we need to do. And I think that now that there's a vaccine available and it's proven to stave off serious illness, that it won't be quite the emergency that it once was, but businesses will feel the impact of this. Some will, and we may just want to hold tight and wait and see how we can support them if that comes to pass. And if it doesn't, a business stabilization loan program sounds like exactly what we should be doing.
What's the source of the funds? We have two pots, the Resiliency Loan Program funds and the Athens Cares Grant Program funds.
So we're talking about the resiliency funds, which was the general fund. The CARES Act funds have been 100% distributed.
Okay, I wasn't able to get those spreadsheets today, but the stream tied to that money by the unified government when it was provided to us was that it has to be dispersed in line of aiding recovery efforts related to COVID-19. That's in the text of what I just emailed the group. So the city or the unified government might be willing to change that, but until and unless they do, we have to follow that.
Mm-hmm. Which makes Erica's recommendation even more important, that we hold it for seeing if businesses have to shut down again and need more money. As a loan, though, loans don't really help businesses that don't have income coming in.
It's not so much having to shut down. It's just the fact that people will stay home.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to wear masks when they go out, or they know that they need to wear masks, and so they're not going out. There's just a lot of people's behavior changes depending on what's going on with this mess. And, I can tell you, like, Joe was saying, yeah, we had a slow night. I'm like, yeah, prepare, because, people are going to change their behavior. They're going to stop going out. They're going to withdraw again. And so he's not going to be the only one who's impacted by those choices that people make without it being an overall shutdown.
Yeah.
So I think we just don't know right now what's going to happen with all of that. And, we should maybe just wait and see for a minute before maybe we can get the language, maybe we can get them to convert, to give us a new missive for the money, but we could also use it for that. I think we talked about that in the last meeting. We did, about keeping all those options open.
Yeah.
And we talked about the timing, depending if the ARPA funds come through and if the JDA is asked to do grants or something, then we can pair them again with a grant and a loan potentially, if that was what the board decided they wanted to do.
Ilka, how long would it take to ask to have the language changed so that we can do something besides the emergency if we decide we wanted to do something besides emergency funding?
I think the mayor can probably help me with that. He's
Yeah,
more
so,
familiar with it than I am,
just
really.
in terms of like standard protocol, there's about a 6-week turnaround between an agenda item being initially submitted and then the vote on that item. So, if you would imagine, like, let's say you wanted a first Tuesday of November vote, you'd really want to have things lined up probably September 20th. So just in terms of lead time, that's about what we're talking about.
Should we go ahead and do that, Dan, with only $139,000 left? Or is that not enough to mess with making that change?
If you divide $139,000 by
12, yeah. That's 10 businesses.
And if the
we're gonna
ARPA funds come through in the next couple months, is that what you said, mayors? That y'all are hearing?
So there'll be an application process for those funds with a defined set of goals. So, for example, just give an example, the commission may say, given the legislative language and U.S. Treasury guidance, we really want to focus on healthcare access as one goal area. And so we want to spend somewhere between 5 and 10% of the funds in that area. And so then we would kind of put out a call for proposals to the community. May say, hey, we want to spend 15% of the money building small businesses into slightly larger businesses or expanding capacity with them. And, we're going to put out a call for proposals. So that's what it's going to look like. So probably following this meeting that we have next Tuesday, I expect maybe another month or two of finalization of the goal areas and then putting out a call on the street.
We would apply for some of that money is what you're saying.
Yeah, if there was a goal area that fit the framework of the JDA.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other thing that you may want to consider, we may want to consider in my role as board member here, is should there be a goal area in the Affordable Rescue Plan expenditure that really is in our wheelhouse? We may say, hey, we want to apply for these federal funds, which don't come with some of the strings that general dollars do, and we would be glad to return these general dollars to the unified government. That may be an approach to take also.
Well, at this point, I don't think we should open another round of anything.
I would just hold on to the money for now. It was my recommendation to make.
Yeah.
Do we want to make that a formal motion, or I'll be happy to second it if we do?
I'd make that in the form of a motion that we just hold on to these dollars and not begin any new programming.
Does that need to be a motion, or can we just not do anything?
You can just not do anything. The agenda item is a discussion.
Okay. All right.
Any further discussion? Okay. So then I think that we have added the treasurer's report in this spot.
Yeah. Well, I sent it out to you guys. I really just want to answer questions if you have them, and if you don't, then even better. Any questions?
Okay, I was looking at it earlier.
There's really nothing remarkable except that we gave out all the loans. They all got out, which was pretty remarkable considering how long it took to get the others out. And we have one other company that has paid some money back. ULM Hospitality repaid $6,000 of their $16,900 loan.
Okay, and that's it. Out of how many people do we make loans to?
24, I think it's 23 in this round.
And 2 have started to pay it back.
Yeah, well, in this round, we made 23. The people that are paying it back are ones that got the first round. And they're just paying it back early. It's not due yet.
Right. Okay.
We will have some coming due in October of this year, September, October. So we'll start accruing some interest income. And actually, because right now our P&L, we're negative $25 because we paid for QuickBooks and don't have any income. But we have money.
Okay.
I think Ilka is working on an audit, trying to find an audit partner. So like I said, these financials are unaudited, but they are end of year and they're final unless there's audit changes I have to make.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
All right. So I believe that Dan, you're up next. Council report.
Well, I'll say a few words about emergency conditions and all in the context of the resolution that we adopted at the beginning. And this is not widely known. It's not as widely known as it should be. I've been working on an advisory about this for the development authorities. I'll talk about it. We have another training session at the end of this month. But for information, the Open Meetings Act has always had a provision that's never been used until COVID, allowing emergency meetings. But it didn't say what an emergency was or how you knew whether you had one or not. So 2 things happened. In May, House Bill 98 became law, and that allowed an emergency to be declared by the federal government, the state government, or a local government. And that's good clarification because some cities were doing that without any authority at the beginning of COVID. But it also said that an agency, and the JDA is an agency, can make its own finding and determination that emergency conditions exist. And if it does that and it's related to health and safety, then authorization is there for virtual meetings. The second thing that happened was that the governor let his primary statewide health emergency declaration expire at the end of July. The authority exists under statute for 30-day intervals of emergency declarations. You don't want emergency powers being permanent. You need a limit on them, and they are limited. So every 30 days, the governor had to renew it. He did not at the end of July, based on conditions at the time, and that was about the time the Delta variant was beginning to get press outside the U.S. and was beginning to become serious. So what authorities are doing now, not all of them are aware that they can, and some are continuing to meet virtually without doing the right thing, which is to adopt the resolution. But the board members have to make their own determination if the local government and the state and the federal government does not, that conditions exist that justify a virtual meeting. And that's what our resolution did. It's a standing resolution, so we don't have to do it at the beginning of every meeting. But it has to be factual. So Ilka and I communicated about conditions in the jurisdiction of the unified government in Winterville, and there was justification there, and that's done. If those conditions cease to exist, then we will respond to it by posting an agenda that says it'll be an in-person meeting. Hopefully things won't get so bad that the governor again initiates just what we were talking about a minute ago, a declaration that with a stay-at-home order or fast or things like that. But right now, nobody knows, but we're able to function. And situations like this, as we were discussing earlier, are especially bad for some types of businesses. Loans don't do you any good if your business is closed. But statewide and nationwide, there's a lot of economic strength in the economy. We were talking about that a little earlier in some of the deals that are getting initiated and closed right now. So it's kind of uneven, and it does tend to affect small businesses more than others. So I'm kind of wandering away from law into, policy and philosophy. So let me stop with that. But we are able to continue to function. And again, I'll frankly say that I think this JDA has done probably the best job of any agency in the state of Georgia handling funds like this. It was successful rounds and actually had somebody pay back some money. It's really remarkable. So good work, and I look forward to our next round when and if. That's it for me.
Ilka, what have you got?
So I just got a quick report. Stephanie kind of shared, started reaching out to some CPA firms so that we'll have an annual audit of our books. Have sent out a few inquiries. Mayor Dodd, I was thinking if Winterville has an auditor that they use that you potentially know, if you could share that with me. We're just trying to see if we can get 2 or 3 quotes so that we have some good options to be able to select. Thanks. That's all I have.
Okay, so I think we're at setting a date for our next meeting.
I think our next date is November the 3rd. That's our next regular meeting, unless something occurs in the meantime and we want to do a special called meeting.
Okay. Yeah. We're just making sure it doesn't conflict with states, but states are never in the middle of the week. We always go to states.
One motion, we adjourn.
Okay. All in favor?
Do we have a second?
Yes, Dodd.
Goodbye.
All right. Have a good evening, y'all.
Everybody, good to see everybody.
Nice to see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, y'all. Bye.